Gourd. Hold on. Gourd. This is Gourd. It's that time of the year again. It's Gourd time. Where I've been gifted a gourd and I must do something with it. This time, however, instead of carving said gourd, because this is not a, is it a, I don't know if it's a pumpkin or not. I'm gonna paint it. I should wash this first. Or, okay, I'm gonna wash it first, because that feels like a better idea. As you can obviously tell, not exactly prepared here, so we're just gonna leave you there. And I'll just scream at you while I wash the gourd, so I hope you're having a great time. It's October, it's the spooky time, it's the harvest fall such. If you haven't rewashed over the garden wall yet, make sure that's on the list to do. I'll be doing that probably the week of Halloween, somewhere around then. But yeah, make sure that you do what you need to do in this time. Okay, now that's one rinsed gourd, if I do say so myself. Take the microphone back. Oi! There we go. Who's ready for gourd painting? Now, I don't know which brushes will be best to use or what paint. This is my little paint box that's falling apart at the seams. This is what I use as my paint palette. I don't want to use good brushes because it's a pumpkin. Well, it's a gourd that I'm painting. And that's not to say that I don't have respect for the gourd. It's just that, you know, it's a gourd. I have two reds. What? Oh, flag red and red apple. Of course. So, I'm going for something very specific here. And if it works, it'll look nice, and if it doesn't work, it'll be funny. So I'm really not that concerned at the end of the day, which is really great for me. So, life's good. I'm going to try to paint Kirby. I was going to keep it a surprise, but I feel like you will notice immediately, given that I'm just painting an entire round object pink. I feel as though it won't exactly leave much to the imagination. Oh, so let's get cracking. I'm gonna leave this as like, it's still a gourd, right? Ha ha ha. That's quirky. So anyways, how's everyone doing? It's kind of weird because now that I do the thoughts from the past videos, by the way, I don't think there's a single person who hasn't been confused by those, so don't feel weird if you're not confused. I don't necessarily need as many excuses to just like sit and talk, because I just give myself the excuse now. But regardless, still fun to do these. I'm thinking I'm gonna have another thing coming up in November. Don't quote me on that, because every time that I say, oh, I've got this cool plan, it never happens. That's kind of the joke, the running gag, for those of you out of the loop. Is there anyone in the loop? Please raise your hand if you're in the loop. Oh. So anyway, so I'm just going to talk about things that I wouldn't like make a video, like that don't deserve a thought. Like I'm not going to get into heavy philosophy here or anything like that. Anyways, I'm going to see Lucy Dacus in concert in November, and I could not be happier. Well, that's a lie. I could be happier as a whole, but I could not be happier about going to see Lucy Dacus. Let me like specify here. So far, this is going well. There was part of me that was a little concerned, like, will paint stick to a pumpkin? also really don't know if this is a pumpkin. I'm just gonna keep calling it gourd. It's a gourd. But anywho, so there was part of me that was a little concerned. I'm glad that my fears have been put to rest. I'm not gonna paint the bottom because that's just a waste of paint because it's going to sit flat anyways. I feel like I kind of have to let this first coat dry. I don't know, because I feel like if I move it around too much, it's just gonna make it worse. Hopefully you're hearing my muttering. I do mutter a lot. Anyways, I'm seeing Lucy Dacus in November, and I'm happy. I'm very excited for that. It'll be my first time going to a concert, and literally, I can't remember the last time I went to a concert. It might have been a music festival in 2019. Unless you count, well, okay, so March of 2020, right before, literally, I can't remember if it was a week or a couple days. I think it was a week. Before shutdowns and such, there was a music competition thing that my brother was in, so there was a ton of people performing their live original songs, so it was 20 people. But that's not exactly a concert. It's live music for sure, but I wouldn't call it a concert. And I think there's a distinction. I hope that the live music concert fanatics in the comments won't destroy me, rip me a new one. I'm just gonna let this dry a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'll prepare the other colors that I will need eventually. So, yeah, I really don't know I don't know if that counts as a concert or not. I wouldn't count that as a concert, but I'm not, a live music fanatic. Live music's cool and all, but I think, I disagree with my English teacher on a lot of things from last year, mostly his disposition as a person, but I agree with him in the sense that, a concert is not really an auditory experience, objectively, for the most part. When it's, mastered and mixed in the studio, it will sound better than it can in a concert. I mean, there's some amount of, if you're doing, live instruments and that, but for anything with, amplifiers and, that, regardless, there's something to be said about, more of, experience and, culture around concerts, in terms of, you are going to this thing with a bunch of other people, and everyone's there to enjoy, the same thing, and has a similar interest, being the music. Which is really, cool, and, a unique thing that we are dwindling on in society. I did promise no philosophy, but I then just did start societying. But we are running low on those kinds of things, because he was talking about grad in the sense of it's one of the last universal secular experiences, kind of, and it's not quite universal, obviously, but it's generally universal in the sense of most people go through it, and graduate high school and experience that. If you didn't, no stress on you. Different strokes for different folks, but generally speaking, most people graduate high school. And yeah, I don't know, it was interesting, and I am inclined to agree on the concert front there. I don't want to do more on the top, but I still need to get the bottom. I don't quite know the best way to go about this. I don't want to fully paint the bottom. And I don't want to wait for the top to dry either, because that's so much. Oh. Why is life so hard? What's the situation all the way around? Okay, so this side's looking bad. Rotten, gutted, terrible. And of course I mixed the pinks a little bit, so it's not quite just easy to do this shade. But I mean, it's basically just this shade. Come on, there we go. I hope you have something to look forward to in your life, even if it's not going to see Lucy Dacus in concert. I hope that you've got something that you can look forward to in the coming months' time. Christmas comes soon. Christmas and the holidays as a whole. Christmas comes but once a year, and but once a year creeps ever closer. I don't dread Christmas, but there is part of me that does not enjoy the process of gift giving. I think it's lovely when you like are able to like give someone something that they will care about, and that like you care about them and like appreciate them, and like it's a show of that. But the idea of having to just like on demand do that is not I'm not a fan. There's also a ton of birthdays in December too that I have to worry about. I don't want to say that as like they're a burden on me, like how dare these people be born, but it's just, birthdays make a little bit more sense to me. But the idea of Christmas, I feel like I'm not necessarily like huge on Christmas gifts. I think those are okay to like chill out a little bit. Like if I get like one cool teapot Christmas, I'd be over the moon. To be fair, that's a lie. I would not be over the moon in the sense of that was a hyperbole, and I cannot physically be over the moon. Well, I guess I could if I become an astronaut, but like I didn't take physics, so I feel like astronaut is a physics type thing. And I can't even tell you anything else. I mean, I can like block a scene for you. I can, you know, try to deliver a monologue with emotion. I can make sure a high school production stays on track and direct that, but physics, no. Not my department. Part of me is like, I should have taken physics in high school just to make sure that I keep doors open and like all that. And part of me is like, why would I ever want a door open that includes physics in my life? I'm having fun with my silly little plays, and my silly little gourd painting, and my silly little job at a restaurant where I just serve silly little drinks and make them. Something fun. So people who work in restaurants, I think like will attest. I'm very content with my work environment as a whole. I think it's very good. There's a couple people who like, you know, here and there, but every place will have those. By and large though, a great work environment. What's fun though is that, so I am trained on serving and bartending, and I do have an amount of both shifts throughout the week. So like as a bartender, I know how to help the servers best. But also, as a server, if the bartenders are taking too long to make my drinks, I will go back there and make them myself. And never with this, like, how dare you take so long to make my drinks, but just, like, get out of the way, I'm doing this now. I'm here. I run the show. But that is one of my greatest downfalls, as well, is that I believe I can just do things, or I know how to do things better than other people. I'll never be rude about it, but I will still kind of believe it. We're getting into, like, now it's just therapy, or just, like, deep-seated, you know, emotional stuff. This is a way to go about the process I have to endure. Not one that I'm particularly like, I'm not so sure what I'm doing here. I mean, this gourd is getting painted, so, like, I feel like I'm succeeding, passing with flying colors. Anywho, there was a lot of that last night, because we were pretty busy last night. It was a Saturday, so one of the busy days. People are out and about, hitting the town. Are you supposed to, like, do anything to gourds to make sure that they don't like shrivel up and die immediately? Am I doing everything horribly wrong? Who knows? I don't. You think I researched before doing this? Do you think I was like, how to best paint a gourd? No, I did not. I said, I've got acrylic paints, paintbrushes, and a gourd, and I'm going to paint. For it is my passion. It's not quite my passion, but painting's nice. Okay, we're gonna get the flaky bit of paint, not on the pumpkin. The gourd, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't care if it's a perfect paint job. I'm content with this. But the thing is, I need it to kind of dry before I go too crazy with trying to get, like, a face put on. I think the face will go best here. I need to dry. Oh, this will look gutted. I mean, what more do we want, though? Okay, so while that happens, how about that weather? It's fall right now, and fall around these parts means like literally like 2 degrees overnight, and then back up to like 20 degrees in the afternoon. So in the morning when you wake up, it's still like 4 or 5 degrees, which is not warm, really. I mean, depending on, like, if you're just coming out of winter, it will feel warm, but coming out of summer, 5 degrees is not warm. And that's fine, but the problem is that there's no way to dress for the day. You've got to, like, have to have an outfit that you can morph with the temperature of the day, because by the end of the day, or like middle of the day, it'll basically be summer weather. But in the morning, it will be way too cold for any summer attire. And it's so hard. Life is so hard. I know I'll ruin it if I try to paint over it now, but I'm impatient. I guess I can get brushes ready, because I don't know what brush to use. I mean, I can use this weird one. I've got this whole jumble of brushes. I'll use the stained one. I don't want to use nice brushes on the gourd. No offense to the gourd, as always, just to clarify. There's no offense to the gourd. I'm just saying, this isn't really the, like, use fancy brushes type material. This is a fun one. This is, like, a fancy one that I bought because I wanted to do words, and it worked well enough, but it feels fancy. It's got a little, like, plastic cover, like a little freaking, like, grip thing, so it's like beep 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 beep. Fancy. Because what do I have to do? So I've got to do black, white, blue, and reddish pink. So I can use these three for black, white, red, and blue. Nope. Yes. Those were the colors I needed. And this, I can just use this again for the red. That airline food sure is improving. I'm lying again. I've never been on a plane. I don't know what airline food's like. The problem is, it takes even longer to dry than, like, a canvas, because Gourd's skin is not, like, porous and designed for paint. I honestly might just say we come back to this. We'll come back to do the facial details. I can't just keep sitting here. See ya right away because of the magic of editing. We are back in action. Did you know that there's gonna be an energy crisis in Europe, or there already is? That's so crazy. I was on YouTube Shorts and I just was doing, you know, the mindless scrolling as people do. And that's so crazy. Energy crisis in Europe? What? It's crazy. Anyways, so now here's the portion of the video where I have to now dance around the uncanny valley. Because either my biggest fear with this gourd now is that, because with the Kirby face, I either need to make it look actually good or awful. Because if I hit the uncanny valley where it's like, oh, you tried, and it doesn't look good, but it doesn't look funny either, then I will be devastated and I will never be able to show my face again. So, no pressure on me, but also literally every single pressure that's ever existed on me. That was very dramatic for me, just like painting some black splotches on. But I mean, like, you know, did we expect anything different from me? If you did, then you shouldn't have. So I need to also, okay, so now here's the part where I can really, like, things can just go absolutely sideways. Oh my gosh. Success. Okay. Okay. Pure success so far. Like, complete and utter raw success. I think next is probably best to do the cheeks because I need to let the eyes dry a little bit. Because if I screw up the eyes, it's over for me. My life is ruined. I will never be able to work again in this town. If you ask where I get it, it's my mother. Not that she was ever into, like, drama, but she just has a flair for the dramatics in a way that I could have done this better. Anyways, it grows weary of telemarketers, so now when she, like, immediately, because it's pretty easy to very quickly realize that they're telemarketers, so she has now begun, like, experimenting with what phrase will get them to hang up the quickest. And so far what's working for her is, I think, Jesus Christ Center for Higher Learning, how can we help you? And that gets them to hang up fast. And there was one point, because, like, so they're telemarketers in my area where there's, like, the windows and door scam or something. And so they're using, like, local, I don't know how they're masking it exactly, but regardless, they're somehow using, like, local numbers. Like, the caller ID showed up as, like, Greg or something. But it ended up being, you know, windows and doors people. And so then my mom, I think one day, was like, I need to speak to Greg. I've got beef with him. Where's Greg? And they were like, there's no Greg here. And it's like, what do you mean? Greg called me. Where's Greg? Where is Greg? And she just keeps going with it. She doesn't stop. And I commend her for it. I commend her for it. Okay, I really am just using so much to try to get a color that won't exist. I feel like that's okay now. Hopefully I don't screw up the cheeks. Okay. Okay. Once again, we're in dire straits here. Not too shabby. Now I just have to wait to finish the eyes. Which once again means I have to wait for it to dry, which is fun. My favorite thing to do. Waiting. Okay, I'll be back again. Boom. Who's ready for a finale? Okay, so it's not exactly dry yet, but I grow thin on patience. So now here's the part where things can go horribly and terribly wrong. So so here's just what we're working with right now. Looks solid. Looks good. I realized that I'd never actually shown you the face yet, which I think added to it just a little bit, though. That there was this allure, mystery, the unknown. So now here's where things can go wrong. But as they say in Rome, I'm not dissatisfied. Okay, now it's really do or die time. The final little blue under the eyes. Or in the eyes. It's in the eyes. I'm already failing. Something's wrong. I think I need more white. Maybe I have the proportions of the eyes just a touch off too, but because right now we're so close to beauty and perfection. I think we're in the uncanny valley. I think this is uncanny valley territory. But hey, it's a Kirby gourd, and I will take it. So, no other thoughts. It's unfortunate that this video had to be like broken up because then it does destroy the stream of consciousness, but I feel like there was enough of that at the beginning to last a lifetime, so hopefully you're not, you know, too upset. But I mean, November will be coming around pretty soon, pretty soon, and I've got hopes, so. Okay, have a great time. Stay safe. Have a happy Halloween and a great fall harvest time. Toodles. Bye bye.